I didn't even know I could notify. Open submission.
Elena, perdónalo por mí, hazlo por mí, perdónalo, por favor.
No vamos a matar yo.
No te no digas.
How you guys been? Nah, fuck that. Yo. I don't know, it's Martin Garrix's Mexican version. Mexico plays today in the World Cup, so, you know, we're rooting for Mexico here. Hopefully I'm not in the stream by then, but it's all good. The first few minutes is usually just a kickoff. They throw like a quarter, see who's gonna like kick it off and shit. Well, how you guys been? How you guys been? Hopefully still making music, killing it, making bangers. I went on a mini vacation to Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, and it was pretty cool. You know, just to get away from it for a bit. So yeah, like I came back like a few days ago and I was like, gotta get back into production, and I was sucking ass, bro. Like I was sucking fucking caca, you know, like making really bad stuff. But I got it under control and now I'm back. Such title you have today, it came to my mind, and that, yeah, dude, I don't know, I had a dream, you know, and that's why it's that, bro. It was all good, bro, for sure. But yeah, dude, I needed the vacation. I came back and I'm like, nothing serious, man. This isn't as hard as we make it out to be. It's all simple, bro. We're always in our heads. Can I do? Yeah, I guess I was gonna go down the list, but okay. Let me just set this up. But yeah, I just needed to like get my ears proper because. Okay, so delete that, and I think I have to set this up. Delete that. Make sure it looks good, fam. Okay. Well, I'll try. Okay. All good. Let's see what we get the first time. Fast forward this. Michael Jackson, Dirty Diana. Milo 19 edit. Let's not do Michael Jackson dirty. Man's been through enough. He's fucking dead, so. Yeah, man, drums can be a lot more intentional with them. Right now, it sounds like a bunch of loops were put together. Now, I get it. Tool room, other people teach you to just drop in loops and pray to God. I think that's the vibe I get from them. You know me, I'm the other way around. I'm more about being intentional about the drum beat. Right now, it just feels like, again, just a bunch of loops were put together for the drop. The break definitely made me just, I was like, whoa, hold up. I had to stop dancing for a sec. Something was wrong. Is it a guy or girl kind of vibe, you know? I'm like, no. Definitely took me aback. Doesn't feel like it belongs. Good things going for it is I definitely think you can make a cool edit of Dirty Diana. The bass sounds cool. Doesn't really sound too out of key once we hit the drops, so that's pretty dope. Let's see. Dirty. See, like this is proper. Once the drums go away. I think what you did is you used like a breakbeat, and there is some, you do want to use breakbeats for certain loops, but for this, I would have just kept it a lot more simple. No need to use a breakbeat. Just keep it simple. Let it be about the, open hat, clap. You could have like those subdivision 16 hits for sure, but just simple. Like right now, that breakbeat's just doing way too much on it. Cool. All I gotta say. So definitely just to be more intentional with the breakbeat. Maybe grab parts of it and add as layers, but don't use the whole thing outright. Take some time to dial it in, man. But yeah, good shit. Thanks for sending that. Let's see. Extended mix. Diego, looking like Kaká from Brazil, bro. Kaká, Portugal. Oh, Portuguese. What up? Am I doing this right? This guy shot. We got there we go. Looks like Kaká. If you guys know, many of you guys are 30, right? Kaká, he was from Brazil, pretty tall, played for Milan, Inter Milan. Kind of weird. I don't know how I felt about him, but I'll play FIFA. I forget which one, 2018, 2016. I forget. That was my favorite player because he had a nasty kick. Could score goals from the back, So, yeah, he looking like Kaká. It's a compliment. Okay. Ooh.
Brasil!
Oh shit, my bad. The face. The extra video. The face. Okay. Everything's sounding good. Got a good groove. Everything's so good that tom is just sounding kind of out of place, but. Sounding good though. Those toms fucking suck ass, but everything's sounding good, man. I feel like I'm in a Ferrari with some cocaine, some blonde girl with green eyes next to me named Natasha Ledowski or some shit, and I'm about to go spy on Donald Trump down in Florida in Mar-a-Lago. Try and figure out how the fuck he ain't dead yet. How is that guy so old and getting all this shit done? I'm going the speed limit because I don't want a fucking ticket. I don't want no ticket, I rented the Ferrari. I didn't buy the Ferrari. This is really good. This is really fucking good. Motherfucker only has 9 followers. This is really good for 9 followers, bro. Yeah, I like it. What I wanted to feel was more of the bass, like the identity of the bass. For some reason, I can't hear it in my setup. Doom 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 top part of the bass, but honestly, the way it sits is pretty decent. You just gotta give it up the retarded tom, bro. That tom is like missing a chromosome or something. Like, you got that from Splice, didn't you? I know Splice, bro. Fucking a reason why it's $13.99, bro. No, that tom straight out of Splice, bro. It's very different. Somewhat reminds me of Hell Salute. Same mix down as well, it sounds like, but dude. This is really fucking good, to be fair. My beat, not really, the opener is not really bothering me. There's nothing really too bothering, honestly. At this point, it's like little things. But I will say this, that acid sound I wasn't too fond of. Right now, the track feels like it's missing the feeling of space. Best way to put it, go listen to the Hell Salute track. Let me play it real quick, this one. This is the one I'm pretty sure. of space, reverb, I feel is what's missing. So definitely add some reverb. Don't have to add long reverb. For some reason, most people, when I say add reverb, they put 6.90K time fucking reverb. Like they're trying to be like Elon Musk, you know, make the track sound like it's in space. And I'm just like, I said add reverb, you know, like flow reverb, like vibe reverb, like, you know, act like a hipster with a big ass beard and just be like, yeah, some good reverb. Can barely tell it's there, but it does a lot. Yes, it does. You know, kind of just that composed reverb. But I really like the idea. I hope there's like at least like you sampled something. I'm gonna assume. If you didn't, really good fucking melody harmonies going. But I do want a vocal. I want a vocal. Just the way you are, I accept you. Come give it to dad. You know, like, it'd be nice to have some form of vocal. I know that you're the one. I need you in my arms tonight. Yeah, that acid line, I'm not too sure on it, but if you want to have it, I think it's a good CB part. It's just the way you get into it. Like, feels like you need to create some tension, you know? You need to have a little mini build before you get into it. Eases into it, you know? But yeah, really good, man. Honestly, if you need, like, this is a good idea, I think this is a really good idea. The songwriting portion of it is really good on it. Yeah, definitely finish. Definitely take your time with that. And if you can get a vocal or sample vocal that's a little more proper for the break, I definitely recommend it. It will do really good. Okay, let's move on to the next one, dude. Yeah, it did not sound shabby. And yeah, I'm like, okay, hey man, how you been, dog? Me and you. Sure. I mean, I guess if we're pigs, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm down. Me and you for sure. Like, you know, down with the homies. I just don't know. I don't see myself being a pig slash sheep in the future and like kissing. But I mean, if we were like the way we are now, I'd be down to kiss and all that. You know, like for sure. I'm down with the gang. You know what they say? Once the hood's in you, never comes out. You know what I mean? Yep. Well.
I've been away for too long, so long you almost forget, but something always felt wrong. You're still here and now I am back. I knew we're forever together, 'cause nothing that can split us apart. I knew it never settled. There's only one thing that's true in my heart.
It's good already.
Always me, you and me, loving you truly. Me and you, just you and me, loving you truly.
What happened? That break, that intro was like world class. I was like, hell yeah! It sounds like Avicii came back from the dead, and like, you know, and then the drop happened. I'm like, oh fuck.
It's true in my heart. It was always me, you and me, loving you truly. Me and you, just you and me, loving you truly. I guess some things never can change. Some things will stay the same. Since we're here now, I can.
Yeah, I think it's just it can work. Dun 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 dun, right? Like the bass playing that. It can work. It's just the bass, the sound design of it is just like I was expecting it to, you know, like, I wanted it to, you know, I'm pretty sure these 500 listeners, you know, only 8 of them decided to hit fucking like. and what? Damn, what's up? And then ooh, fuck, dude, I'm married. Dog. Well, up.
I love you in the same way. I knew we're forever together.
It's definitely good though. I like the idea of it a lot, man. It's just like that drop definitely didn't. I didn't like. You saw the reaction, right? And you just gotta figure out how to fix that shit. You know, for me, I think it's just the sound design on the bass. To be fair.
There's nothing that can split us apart. Never true in my heart. It was always me, you and me, loving you truly. There's only one thing that's true in my heart. It was always me, you and me, loving you truly. Me and you, just you and me, loving you truly. It was always me, you and me, loving you truly.
I prefer this drop over that, to be fair. I think this works a lot better over here. Definitely a step in the right direction if you were to place this over there.
It's always me, you and me, loving you truly. Me and you, just you and me, loving you truly.
Personally, me too. I wouldn't go to the vocal chops. I'm trying to get my Serum 2 to work. My magic fingers for you real quick. You're in F major. I don't know. I would go with a sim. Maybe do some form of melody that can work. But that's me. I love melody. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I get you. It's just, well, that's my reaction. You know, I'm like a fucking doctor just telling someone they need to stop eating bacon or they're gonna fucking die. And if they don't want to eat it, that's on them. But I think the basis of the idea is really good. I feel like that bass, you can stack more synths, chords, right? Like you remember like selected stuff back in the day. That's the way I would say do it. And from there, like if that works, sick. And then I would definitely go for more of a melodic lead instead of vocal chops on the last part of the drop, because vocal chops right now like that are sounding way too suno, way too generated. And you know, fuck, like use AI, but don't let people know you're using AI. I think that's the name of the game. I think everyone's using AI to find like really good porn sites and shit, and like, you know, and no one wants to admit it, but it is what it is, right? So definitely try not to sound AI-ish. That would be my biggest one, but everything else was really good. Wait, who's Tommy BR? I don't even know how I landed. Oh, okay. Overall idea of the song. Okay, if the song's dope, the song's dope. It's not that deep, right? Let's see. So far, so good. I feel like I'm in Brazil with a big ass Latina. If they're Latino, I don't know if they're Latino in Brazil. More Portuguese than German, right? But so far, I'm vibing. I'm vibing, bro. I'm vibing. I like the idea a lot. This is just thoughts in my mind. Do you need to drop with the vocal doing da 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 da? Because we've been hearing it for so much. It feels like you need to give it a break. I would make the drop, like try removing the vocals, have the lead play like you have, and then see if it rocks. And if it rocks, it's fucking good. But right now that drop's not working because of that. And then also we got James Dusk Music saying like some drums. So yeah, you could definitely switch up the drums as well. I can see that for sure. But I think my main thing that I was hyper focusing on was the vocal just still being there. And then agree, the more I hear it, if the vocal goes away, you might wanna like get more drums in there. Like, where's the clap, you know? I like the lead though. Not a fan of the transition itself. Main thing for me is like you do that and it just feels like you need to go into something else, man. Like it feels like the lead needs to go away and you just need to have like feels like here. Let me help you out. I'm gonna go on Splice. Quick tip: if you like breaks of the late, what the fuck you do? Hold up, Splice is acting up, bro. Fucking, shouldn't expect less. Splice.com. If you like breaks of the late 90s, you can anything and no on. I don't know what the hell you're saying, bro, but I would not use fucking Suno stems on the drums. They fucking sound like shit. But I mean, if you want, like, other stuff makes sense sometimes if it's not as important, but with drums, I don't know, man. It's like that's like telling me to go to a bar and get fucking settle for the worst. What up? What am I doing? Oh yeah, bro. Why not use fills for your transitions? Not fills like that. But hold up, I'm trying to bring them up for you, man. Because to be fair, you can use them. Yeah, shit like that. And then here, I'm not a fan of this. I don't know what you need to do here, but I'm not a fan of this personally. It just kind of kills the whole vibe. It feels like the bass should keep going. The bass shouldn't go away. And then from there, again, it's controlling when stuff comes in and comes out. If you use the vocal a fucking shit ton in the break, and then you drop with the vocal, again, doing the same fucking shit you did in the break, it usually doesn't work. You know, it doesn't work because we've heard it so much. It makes the drop feel like, oh, it's still like, you know, there's no contrast, no change. So the name of the game is changing that. I feel like you get rid of the vocal on the first part of the drop, come in with the fat ass lead, let it work, and it will work dope. It'll work from there, 8 bars past, bring the vocals back. If you feel you can add more drums, add more drums. But the issue is, we go into this section, it's the same problem. I'm like, man, what the hell? It's not like you remove the most important part of the song, which is the bass. And this part just feels rather, you left the fucking vocal and the lead, and it just doesn't feel right. You know, it feels like just the bass, the vocal, maybe bring in another Latin vocal if you can, you know, maybe use your own voice and go viral lad, you know, or some shit. I think that'll be a lot better than that. Okay. Yeah, let's see the last track. I'm curious. Here we go, man. Vamos a culiar. Okay. Let me bring this. Ay, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I fucking hate that. I mean, that's my main thing with it. It's that vocal. Like, learn when to bring it, when not to bring it. The break was cool. For the build-up, you don't have to have the same sequence playing constantly. You can grab the lead and leave it on the one note. And yeah, just change. You know, that's the big important part. Because right now, like, the biggest issue, again, is you're not removing stuff away when my mind feels like it should. Again, if I'm dancing on the dance floor and shit, and you do this, what's going to happen is instead of me like here, just hyper-focusing, it feels like I'm going to be like getting bored, like, oh, you know, I'm going to go to the bar. You know, it's going to be kind of awkward. That's the main thing. So definitely just get the arrangement on it right. Get some more drums in there and see how it fits, man. All I can say, you know, like, just by not having the project and playing around with it in front of me. Don't Suno me, bro, or sorry, don't chat GPT me on this. Let's see. I know the vocal is kind of fucked, but I want to know what okay. I think I should bring these up, but I know the vocal is fucked, but I want to know what's missing. Tried to go for an Arlo type track. I feel like this track is close, but I'm not happy with its current state. Gianna vocals, T-Money guitar. Okay, bro, you don't got ideas of the vocal, and I don't know Arlo type track. I'm looking Arlo up. I don't know what the fuck that is. Let's see, Arlo time. Okay, let's see. He looks like he's in heaven or something.
I don't wanna forget. Until there is nothing left.
Like bass house in UK. If you nail it like that, I'm gonna be impressed. To be fair, because that's pretty dope, dude.
Pull me apart, put me back together.
That's not. Yeah, it's not. Is there any AI which gives feedback to music? Gemini used to, but for some reason we cannot upload WAV files. I don't know if it's reliable though. I think it can give you data and it can interpret the data for you on like certain things that with experience will become common sense to you. Like if the track is clipping, it'll say it's clipping. It's you need to lower down like the limiter, the ceiling of it to -0.3 or something. Like it will do stuff like that. It can also compare like the density of the drop versus your break, stuff like that. But I feel when it comes to the idea of it, I mean, I don't know if you want to trust the robot for the emotional side of stuff, like the goosebump side, like hearing a song and tearing up for no fucking reason other than the fact that the drops sounds good. You know, that feel, I don't know if it's good for that, but definitely for data points, I feel like it would be fairly good for that. You know, like if it's clipping, if there's phasing, if there's smearing, if the break's louder than the drop, shit like that. It makes sense for it to be able to kind of give feedback on that. I used to use ChatGPT for it, but again, it just feels rather redundant.
Can you see me now? Can you see me now? It's never enough. It's never enough.
I think the idea works. I just don't like how sonically it sounds. Mono lead, whatever that is, way too loud. The sides aren't popping up enough, which is the chords. One more time, let's hear it. Not a fan of this section, this here. This, too much, like you get the vocals doing the gate. Feels like it could be a lot more impactful if like you were to do one of those stops. So stops just meaning like you make that first beat coming out of that fill, coming out of that little break into something more like it gets my attention back. Because right now what you're doing is you do, and then you got da-da-da-da, and that, I don't know, it doesn't really fucking sell it to me. I feel like if you were to remove everything just to kick and get like a little jump, it would have been doper. But I really just feel like, again, hearing this, it's the reference is like there was this nice wide sound, like it feels like it's missing in this track. I don't know if it's there, which is gonna be more of the chords. But definitely feels like that needs to become more apparent. It's almost there. It's just missing that. Yeah, maybe layer it with synths, you know? I think that's going to be one of those things too, where maybe some synths can help. It's never enough. It's never enough. It's never. Yeah, so again, you already know the vocals fucked, so let's just say, okay. Yeah, so I think the best way for me to say it, I think the idea itself is strong. It's just the sound design of it, it's not there. And you got to figure it out. It could be as simple as pushing that sound harder, layering it with synths, but right now that is the consensus, is that lead. The main lead is just not carrying the way it should, but the idea feels right. The melody, the harmonies are there. It's just, like, just, again, need to get that shit to fucking hit and sound more interesting to the ear. And break is cool. Trying just to keep the feeling till I drift away from me. Can you see me now? Can you see me now? It's never enough. Also, breaks reference the people that you're just reference them. See how they're doing the breaks. Your breaks feel a bit too scoped back. Feels like you can add a lot more. The thing is, if you don't have any ideas for it, just here, look out for pads, look out for chord sounds. Are they using a piano? Are they sustaining out more, right? Because usually the way I like to think about it is drop. If the drop's doing a lot of groovy shit, sometimes it makes more sense for the break to be the opposite of groove, which would be more sustained out chords, you know, telling the story of the drop in a different way in the break to make it more interesting. As for more stereo imaging, no, I just don't like the way it sounds. I think that, you know, it's when I make a sound and I like the idea of the sound, but it's not sounding ideal, so I have to figure out why that is. And a lot of the times it's just going back into the programming of it. For instance, I could make a bass that sounds fucking dope, playing it in the song, but it's just not hitting the way it should. So instead of me kind of going like trying to figure out with mixing, I'm looking at the design of the bass. Are the envelopes right? Am I doing everything right? Is there a sub layer? If not, do I need a sub layer? For the leads, that I put a layer in there that sucked ass? Is the distortion from Serum 2 fucking it up? Is this flanger? Does it make sense? Is it removing? Is it creating unnecessary width? Right? So I'm looking at the design of the lead to see where I can improve on it to make it sound doper in the song. But yeah, definitely want to, again, go in and like rework that. It could be sidechain, just try stuff out. I like the idea of it. It's just not sounding optimal to the references that you've sent me. So not for sure, man. It's sometimes you can know everything too, and it's just like trial and error, like trying stuff out until it works and shit. Hail Marys, put OTT. Who knows? That might work. But definitely try the stereo imaging out. Micro shift from Sound Toys on it could maybe give some nice width. Those are all things I'm thinking of, but a lot of the times for those kind of sounds, it's usually going to come down to the sound design of it. Like, all right, did you use granular? Did you use spectral synthesis? Can you do something in that to make it sound better, right? Like, is it doing some weird shit? Did you do something, forgot about it, and that's the thing that's killing the vibe completely? So, just want to go back and look at it. Fast forward this. I'll go back to it in a sec. Like the vocal. Groove's cool. Sidechain, throwing it off in the break. Need better mixing, balance. There's certain things that are way too loud. Wide hits. That makes sense. I like how you get crescendoing the strings. So let's see. Personally like the idea of it. It's just, I don't know where the vocals are from, but too much very like staccato. It's like I want to hear like a full out phrase, you know. You know, it needs something like that because the whole track just feels very staccato-ish. Drops are cool. I think it's grooving pretty good. Needs better mix. This second break is where I would have wanted the vocals to do something different. Now, if you're using sample pack vocals, don't be scared to go into other sample pack vocals and find maybe something that can help make the track just feel a lot more like a track. Right now, it just feels very like it's cool beat. But again, the break, for example, here, it would have been nice to highlight the vocals more. Have them like say something dirty, something nasty, add to the break, the sultriness of it, just that mysteriousness of her just maybe saying like, slowing down a bit to create a bit of contrast between what you've been doing. That was like the big thing there. Drop, cool. Make sure the sidechain's not happening in the break. Sounds rather weird because it sounds hollow. It doesn't sound full because you have the sidechain constantly going, and the kick's not there to fill in the gap. If you're using Kickstart, you can automate the mix down, right? Because again, at the end of the day, the purpose of mix start is to remove, the low end out of the way of the kick, the bass, right? Remove it out of the way. But in a break, if you remove the low end out of the kick and the bass, does it matter? Does it make it feel too like this, right? Those are all the things I'm thinking of as I'm hearing that. But I really like the groove on this. I liked how you build it up. I like the increase in volume on stuff. A lot of people don't pay attention to that, so I thought that was pretty sick. Really all I can say on it. But yeah, man, again, if find another vocal for that break, I would say. Or maybe that sample pack has another one in it. And let me just go back and check this out real quick. Let's see I don't know what I missed. If you like the guitar, go for it. I would say definitely doing a lot more than the references. Like coming in with that guitar to me doesn't really make too much sense. I haven't heard all their catalog of music, but to be fair, it's like you're doing a shit ton more than they are. It feels like when I was hearing theirs had like a good sound, very simple, doing dope shit. It was all about the idea, and that was it, and they just capitalized on it. Okay. Well, I don't know the track and stuff. Mexico got this. Yeah, hopefully, dude. They're playing on a how do you say it? Estadio Azteca. So I'm ready for that at 12 and shit. If that's a guitar and you can make it sound a lot better, make it fit more rather than sounding thinnish and kind of like it's just there, definitely can work. Not a fan of how you get into it. Main reason being is that you can build to it, right? You need to make me want it. You need to make me want you to give me something new in the song. And as I'm hearing it, it's just going from the left to the right, kind of rushing through all your sections. So that's my issue with it. It's the way you're telling the story. Instead of developing the characters, you're just taking them straight to war. And I'm like, well, why did they go to war? And you're just showing them killing each other instead of giving a little bit of the backstory, a little bit of tension, a little bit of anticipation for something different to happen in the song. I do like the idea of it though. It's different. That's all I got to say on that. So definitely, the main issue is that lead. Now that I hear it, it's just bothering the shit. It could be too loud. Again, just trying stuff out on it. Okay, let's see the next one. You think it was a trumpet? That was a trumpet? Sounds like a guitar. Mix wise, not feeling the track, so it's not grooving. Imbalance in the low end. Clap to right. So right now everything just feels like it was thrown together. So if this is the final mix, this is the final product. Still needs to be mixed a lot better, and take your time again picking your drum samples. Like, don't just rush through it. There is something to be said about sound selection. You know, just picking the right sounds that you can bring together. For example, in the new video I released yesterday, I was making a case that sometimes you want to take your time with just picking the right clap, the right open hat, because a lot of times when people want to mix something, right, it's not that it's badly mixed. It's just that it's the wrong sound. It doesn't make sense. It's like going to a sushi restaurant and someone's trying to sell you fucking barbecue. You know, it doesn't make fucking sense. So again, clap, switch. Very dark melody. Nice. I like the idea of it. My biggest thing right now as I hear it is the bass, right? It sounds like this is what it's doing. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. But the bass just feels like it's not like it's like either the side chain or the mids of it. Like what I want to hear. It's not that, but like I think if I had to say it, it was like a G house bass. I see. I'm like, it's not. Wouldn't be that one either. Like I want a bass with this resonance, this knock, these mids. See, like even this one's not it. But it's a step in the right direction. It's one where I want something like, that's a step in the right direction, but it's not even, nope. I'm trying to think like what pack would have that bass. But if I were to say like maybe something like a square with like, and then when I sidechain it too, I wouldn't sidechain the whole thing where it sounds like you're hearing just like the tail end of it. Because what I want to feel with that track is this, like -3. And again, this is, you know, that nasty ass fucking like mid. You know, that nasty, or even like add seconds, like and then maybe distort it. Just give me an idea. Dum 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 dum. You know, like nasty G house sound. Maybe even add a pitch envelope to it, where it's like. Right, so the bass just needs to be a lot more like aggressive. You know, like it needs to sell me that fucking feeling of like I'm a fucking gangsta. And this bass is just not giving it to me. It's like way too shy, you know, like very shy. It lacks character. The MIDI wants to be fierce, wants to be fucking G, but the bass is just fucking basic ass, like subby, deep, but it doesn't have those mid lows, which is what's gonna make it sound more fucking like Let's hear that last break. Every Thursday, 10 a.m. I feedback anything. This part sounds dope. A lot of atmosphere. Love it. Yeah. It is a job. Cool lead. Just fucking, again, sound selection. Like, it's my job fucking to do this for a living. So it's like I've been through it all. And yeah, it's just sound selection, man. That like I was gonna say that lead needs to be mixed better, but it doesn't need to be mixed better. It just needs a better fucking lead. Like that lead is like it's horrible. Fuck it. I don't care if it's one of my leads. It's fucking horrible. Like like even something as simple as this sounds a lot better. Maybe lower the reverb. Like I think it's gonna sound a lot better. I always tell people sound selection and being able to manipulate the preset is going to be the biggest thing you can do for yourself, because a lot of times, with presets, they're there to just make it faster. You need a sound, you find one that works, but maybe for the tech house track, this is a little too EDM-y, so you go in and maybe figure out how you can un-EDM it, right? Like, that would be a lot better, because now if I go in and like, that's gonna sound a lot better, and that just makes it better. Yeah, so this is feedback ChatGPT can't give you, because it's just gonna tell you some bullshit ass stuff. But main thing for me on this track is rework the bass, make the bass sound a lot meatier, a lot more characterful. I feel like there's a Chris Lake track out there like this that you can reference for the bass. But again, the key with the bass lines for this stuff is a high resonance and the cutoff optimized so that you don't open it all the way to make it sound. So it doesn't open up all the way to go, squelchy, but you open it enough where it lands somewhere in the mids. You get a very nice bass, mid-heavy bass that will make the track feel a lot more characterful, more mala, more old school Matroda, more mature, I want to say. This just sounds like, like Lil Kitty. And then from there, a lot of the sounds just like creating a sound palette with them so it doesn't sound like a bunch of random shots going off, right? And I know it's hard because you buy preset packs and you have all these kind of sounds that you can use, but your job as a producer is to create a palette, right? Create sounds that sound like they're from the same the same range, like they work well together, rather than like it sounds like you got this one from the Rios pack and then you use my All Stars pack for this one, and then you went and got Tronic Audio's shitty ass sounds, right? Like again, it's gonna come down to just being able to make everything feel like it belongs. The way you do that is by removing some, maybe the reverb delay, and having your own reverb and return tracks that every sound can go into to give it that vibe. The way you saturate, if you have a sound that's very distorted, it doesn't make sense to come with another sound that's going to sound not as distorted, because now it's going to be way too much of a contrast difference. Going back to the example of you go to a sushi store and you buy California roll, and then they try and sell you brisket and barbecue and shit, and you're like, what the fuck? I thought this was a sushi store. Same exact thing. You know, sound selection is very important. So definitely just take your time with it. Oh, dude, I buy like a check the competition. You know, for me, it's big, you know, to do it better. And yeah, I get into sessions all the time where I'm like, yeah, just like, you know, I'll see a bass, I'm like, I don't know about that, and then I won't tell the producers. I'll just fix the patch a bit and shit. All right, on to the next one. Let's see, I'm like, doing okay. Oh, okay. All right, this is the way we do it.
I really like the beat. Can you play it again?
Oh, this is mixed in key, by the way. Yeah, so right now it sounds like the kick is way too loud.
I really like the beat. Can you play it again? Press rewind. Press rewind. I really like the beat.
More problems though.
Press rewind. Press rewind. Press rewind.
That's crazy, man.
I really like the beat. Press rewind. Can you play it again? Press rewind. Press rewind.
Those are recording in the game.
Like the beat. Can you play it again? Press rewind. I really like.
I'm trying to be nice and find like the main idea in this. I would start with the bass personally. You're using like, oh, I don't know if it's the lately bass that I gave out, but if you're going with that bass, so you have to keep in mind that bass has a lot of upper frequencies, right? So like the best way to explain it is like, you know, I could have a very basic like saw bass, like right, like this. Let's say just very basic, like, which is most bass lines to be fair. Right, this bass provides a lot of low end support, doesn't need to be heard, but it's giving us the groove, the low end, right? But if I do this, right, where right, the bass becomes the main idea, because now the bass is starting to develop identity on the top part of it. And this type of bass is harder to get into a track where there's a lot going on, because you're going to have to deal with the top part of the bass and maneuvering the synths around it. So, yeah, the lately bass is cool if you want the main bass to be the main idea of the whole song, where you're not really gonna have a lot of synths, a lot of stuff happening on top of it, right? It's gonna be more of those. It's gonna be more of that track where it's like a vocal and maybe the bass, and that's it. That's why whenever you hear the lately bass, majority of the time, you're gonna see that it's more of a simpler track rather than a track with a lot of synth work on top of it, right? So the lately bass would sound like, I think it's this. Right, that's the lately bass. Right, so there's a lot on it. So that's the first thing, optimize the bass. Second thing is the kick sounds way too fucking loud. So it's like doom, doom, doom. It could be the kick's too long or the kick's too loud. I'm hearing like something that probably got ran through Ozone mastering, and Ozone's trying to save your ass, which makes it harder for me to give actual feedback, to be fair. Because if you have all this shit happening in the mixing stage where maybe the kick is 60 dB louder than it should be, Ozone's gonna try to cover your ass. So it's a lot harder to like say, oh, your kick's loud, because now I have to kind of make an educated guess by just hearing the way it sounds, right? A flattened master track on why it sounds the way it does, okay? Let's see. Next thing is to the ideas.
Can you play it again?
This is probably not it, and maybe that could be the fucking the thing. But mix wise, it's fucked, and it's hard to tell why. Like, I would like to hear a version where it's not mastered again, and that would be a lot easier to kind of pinpoint the issues at hand. But I think the biggest issue of it all is just the kick. It's controlling the low end of the kick, making the kick feel fine, and then once that's controlled, I feel mixing on the mids and the highs becomes a hell of a lot easier. Most people deal with the low end issue. They can't get the low end right, so they mix their track to a flawed low end, and then from there, you know, like, they wonder why the mix never works, when in reality they could have the right mix. One way to solve that is to use NS10s or an Avotone. So NS10s, let me see if I can put NS10 speaker profile, like, or NS10s remove the low end at around 100 hertz, so you don't have to deal with the mixing of the lows. So you hear more of the mids and more of the highs. So if you mix there and it sounds good, and then you bring the kick and bass back in, right, the low frequencies, and it sounds like shit, then you already know it's your low end. And I feel a lot of people deal more with that. That's why I feel it's a lot easier to mix when you don't have low end information, because, like, you know, like, you don't have that energy masking and pushing shit to the back. But anyways, it's gonna be it. That's all I gotta say, man. So just keep at it. Lost at the edge, low in clarity. Okay, cool. Low in clarity, but I'll hear the whole song. I'm like, Fice. Someone wanted a Brazil earlier. Brazil! But hopefully Mexico wins the World Cup, because... Also, what the hell is that thing you guys are... Is that just me, or what the hell? Oh yeah, that's just me. Sounds like Rihanna. Oh my life. Yeah, man, that poor kick. This doesn't go where I expected. This, yeah, I was expecting the low end to be better here. Shit. Yeah, I don't know. If I had to guess just by hearing that, first thing I'd be trying is the bass too loud. Second thing would be optimizing the dynamics of the bass. So just by hearing your bass, I'm just gonna make something simple. Right, you have a 1/8. It sounds like you have doon 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 doon. right? Maybe at 130, very trancy. Right. The problem is your bass sounds kind of like it wants to play the 1/8, but there are a couple of things that could be happening, right? Number one, it could be this, where your bass sounds like this. Like it lacks that doom doom doom, the dynamics of it to make it feel like punchy. Right, so what I mean is here, like this, you already see sounds lifeless because the bass is always, it never has that end to it. So you definitely want a little bit of a gap, I would say. Right, because again, if I do this, see, this sounds flat as fuck and horrible, right? But once I start to bring it down, now you start to feel the bass, the definition of the bass a lot better. The gate is this, it could also be the same as when you have MIDI, right? And this is why, again, in some of my videos, I say like take your time with it. Is because if I have this same problem, right? The MIDI is always there. My envelope is not, it's not optimized for this sort of MIDI, so it's gonna sound fucking flat, like. Like right now, this is flat as fuck. But now if I give it a little bit more, right, it's better, but still flat as fuck. So now I'm like optimizing the fucking MIDI. You know, but the key thing is you don't want to do this because then it's just too weak and thin. So it's a balance. But what I find works best is sometimes leaving this up here and just controlling the tail. So that would be the first thing I do. And also the volume of it, like optimizing with the kick and bass. Some people say the bass needs to be 60 dB lower than the kick. Other people say use the VU meter trick. Other people use limiters. I say use your fucking ears. Nah, I'm kidding. I to this day, I still have trouble with low end. I use bass room sometimes to kind of give me some like feedback on whether I have too much low end on the kick or too little. Like always kind of helps with the balanced master. You can also bring in like your own references if you want to compare to one. But again, none of this bass room stuff matters if the bass isn't optimized to do what it's meant to do, right? So that's going to be more on you to check the MIDI, check the envelopes, to optimize that, okay? It's the only thing I would do, but hearing it, I can tell you already that is definitely one of the issues. And then that's just that. That was a question asked. I'm starting to learn lame. Just whatever people ask, that's what you get. Big breaky, paleo. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Nice chords. That note, do. There's. Nice melodies. Okay, I want it back. I always want to compare, let's see, like Martin Garrix. Who makes music like this, like current, that has like a really good sound? I mean, Martin Garrix has a fucking $3 million studio, so if he makes anything like that, I can trust it, right? I'm assuming he's not deaf by this point, but... verse is a little different. He had one with. Let me just hear it. I just need like a refresher. There we go. This song is fucking fire. Yeah, really good. I like the idea of it. Main thing on the drop for me is gonna be like you have a lot of atmosphere and a lot of this noise floor, right? So noise floor is sort of like as I'm talking right now, right? There might be like this. Then a problem with having a noise floor that's way too loud is that you lose depth and you lose clarity. You also lose perception. Sometimes that type of noise can also help fill in the gaps, but when it's too much, again, it's gonna kill it. So as I'm hearing that Martin Garrix one, and I'm hearing this one right now, I want more presence in the lead, not in the sense of like EQing the high end or something, but more in the thing that it sounds rather mushy, like it's not sounding like full, like present. It's sounding like almost like it's fake. It's hard to kind of place, but it's just lacking that. Trying to figure out the words. Maybe one of you guys can help. It's there, but it doesn't feel full. It doesn't feel like the meat of it, the mids. Also, like that noise in the back adds a lot of atmosphere, which is dope, but it feels like it's way too loud. And I feel like if you were to bring that down, trust your idea, it would sound a lot better for it. And maybe as you do that, you might find certain things can be amplified more. You can grab parts of the chords or maybe the lead and push more because now you can hear that it needs more mids. Right, so that's going to be the main thing. Thought break was really good. Nothing bothered. What I would say in terms of songwriting as well is break. Can you modify the lead? Can you make it sound different than the drop? Just to kind of reference the greats, Dimitri Vangelis and Wyman, right? Those are all like really like if I had to like say, you know, reference people, I would reference them. I think they made some of the best progressive house of our time, right? They got what ID2, which. See, like this fucking sounds. Like that lead, I can feel the lead. Like I can hear it, but it doesn't feel mushy. It doesn't feel transparent. It feels full. It feels like I don't want to clean the mirror, right? Like, and I don't know where that comes from. It could be keeping it simple, the envelopes, right? But that's what I'm talking about. Like just the way that feels. Let's see, in the drop. Right, so the lead in the break is more plucky, and as it goes into the drop, you get this big fucking super sauce sound on the sides that helps make it feel more sustained, and it changes the contrast between the break and the drop. So that's something I would have liked to hear on this. That's why I was pointing that out. Songwriting-wise is creating that movement, right? If on the drop, the lead is very sustained out, maybe on the breaks, it could be plucky so that you create a bit of storytelling, right? Start with the pluck, develop it, and on the drop, it becomes its glorious, sustained out self. And vice versa, right? If the break is more sustained out, maybe for the drop, you might opt to have it a little pluckier, a little bit more groovier. Maybe the melody gets like, instead of going dun, 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 it's dun, 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 right? Like you get more frequency, more rhythm in it instead. So things like that. But really good ideas on that. You hear this break? Piano's nice. Yeah, all I gotta say, if I was hearing this from the left to the right, maybe again vocals. But you do everything right. You do the change. I don't know what I would add there. To be fair, that's a big one. It's kind of like that becomes more of like where do I want to take the track. But I thought it was pretty cool. And again, Dimitri Vangelis and Wyman, really good fucking references. Like I'm telling you, those guys, like fucking like top shit. I would say. Kick, definition, compress, build up, vocal. Why are they sounding filtered? Why not just have them full out? Things I was thinking, can they be simplified? Let's get the party cracking. Keep on moving. Get the party cracking. Keep on moving, right? Instead of using the whole vocal, like wherever you got it from, the sample, maybe there's more ways where you could, like again, chop it up. Like don't just use it outright, but like you know, like instead of using something that goes, keep on cracking, moving, we're gonna fucking do it, let's get it, bump, though. You know, you maybe just grab little parts of it so that you don't have the vocal overdoing, and if you're speeding up a vocal too that's at 70 BPM up, it makes the rapping sound rather unnatural as well. Yeah, like, whoa now, like, is that needed? Baby, keep on moving, like, baby, keep on twerking, like, baby, keep on moving, right? Like, is there ways to refine it down? That's what I would say. Also, again, high end on the vocals. Yeah, to me, this just sounds like the kick is way too fucking loud. So, again, I think it's very hard to say, like, what volume you should have the kick and bass. I wish it was that easy where, like, you know, like, put the kick at this volume and put the bass at this volume. It's never like that. You always have to kind of work at it. Right now, it just sounds like the kick is way too fucking loud, to be fair. That's, I don't know where the kick volume is versus the bass, but if you're going to do anything, the first thing you must do is level the kick lower. That's all. I want to level that fucking kick in, bro. Like. That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty sick. That's pretty sick. Yeah, really good, man. I was like, it's like when you got the hard ass, like someone's like this, and then and then it's like they see you or they hear you, like, all right, all right, all right. Damn, dude, that's sick. That last shot was sick. Uh, so now big issue with the track for me, like the biggest one of all, is just the kick being too loud. From there, the bass, towards the turnarounds when you go into the breaks, can use something cooler with them is another idea that came to mind. Other than that, really good. Honestly, really, really good on that track. Vocal stuff I said in the beginning, I bumped it louder, didn't bother as much. But again, if you felt the same, then definitely try and simplify on redundant words that aren't needed. But other than that, really cool. Work Like a Charm on a big system. Now I'm looking to make it into a whole track. Okay, let's see. Be picky. I need that process. I know, but being picky, it's like I said, I went on vacation, and like I tell people, like if I ever were to release more music, which like I just heard a track got signed by Future House Music that I worked on, and I'm like contemplating whether to leave my name on it, because anytime like my name is attached to it, since I teach people, I'm a big tutorial guy and shit on YouTube, there's always that fucking expectation. It's probably all in my head, but I expect people to think that, everything needs to be perfect. So I'm like, fuck, over obsess over that a bit too much, I would say. Because honestly, if I was like just doing an artist, I would start like a different alias, so that way I don't give a fuck about that stuff. And when it sounds good enough, it's good enough, rather than, oh, the clap, it's too fucking, it needs to be more tighter because I teach these people, sometimes it's like with music, it doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't. So yeah, that's why I try not to give feedback. There's certain things I hear in tracks that I'm like, I'm holding myself back, dude. But I'm starting to care more about the idea, to be fair. Yeah, I know, but that's the thing, I'm like, is that good or bad? Because I mean, I was watching John Summit's video with Casey in the studio, and finally someone talked some sense. Casey was like, I think John Summit was like, I'm gonna layer another open hat because it's not popping out enough, or something. And Casey was like, no, we're just gonna pick one and make it sound good. Because that's the way, bro. It doesn't make sense to layer 6 fucking open hats ever. Anyways, let's see this. But yeah, it worked, right? Did your track work on the big system, right? I had a feeling it would. Yeah, it's a mental game as well. You gotta balance it, All right. I want to get coffee though, so this little intro, I'm gonna fuck it. Neuralink programming in 1, 2, 3.
Link. Program.
I would have liked to hear more robot, like if that's the theme of the song, more robots, maybe the vocal over here instead of over here, just to get people listening straight away, especially if this is like the Spotify edit. Neuralink commencing. Robot.
Link. Program. This is Neuralink. This is Neuralink. This is Neuralink.
The way it comes in is a little fucked.
This
is Neuralink. I don't even know if that's the beat, but this is Neuro link. Just go, and then after that, the beat. Hopefully that makes sense. Right now, the way it's landing, it threw me off. Like,
Neuro. Link. This is Neuro.
Neuro link.
Link. Link.
C part, please. Right, you're doing A B A B A B right now. A B A C, please.
Link. This is Neuro. Link. Link. Link.
I like it though. I'm like, they even have that Dude, I bought like a shit ton of packs, and I'm like, what the fuck?
This is Neuro. Link. 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 Program. Neuro. Link. Link.
So like, what I'm trying to do with that, I mean, that's it sounds kind of cool, but I think that drop is cool. The only place for improvement that I can see is more on the stereo field and stuff that's a little bit more like wider, you know, like dun 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 dun, and then you can have like another sound that comes in towards like, you know, when you have something that's playing on that one note, dun 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 dun, you can have another sound come in that evolves rather than do that bam, 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 but more of a like something more sustained out that opens up, something more flowy. Yeah, I'm like this stuff, man. I sort of fucking got. But preset pack should make me sound like pro as fuck. But anyways, that's yeah, like things like that where like on the sides it opens up. Like I didn't want to use a basic super saw, but like you can stack up on certain things, accent certain spots, create certain layers to it. That would be my thing. The buildup, as I said, that's a little weird how it comes in. Before that, you have the break, right, happening. I really think the vocal should start straight away. You're waiting way too long. If you're going to put your DJ tags there, it makes sense. But if you're going to release on Spotify, I would say get straight to the point fast. Use the vocals to create that connection with the listener. And then from there, do all the cool shit, you know. Don't get caught up too much in the technicality or like trying to like create too much tension when we haven't even heard the main idea of the song. Tension is good at the right moments, but it's bad whenever it's not warranted. All right, I'm gonna go get iced coffee as I play this. Hopefully this is done, bro.
Nada mal es que no es normal. Que no es normal.
The vocal chop, in the middle. Not a fan of it. Love the female ones though. Love my females.
Nada mal es que no es normal. Ese movimiento tampoco es normal. Tiene algo que me hipnotiza y me hace poner como un animal, subiendo ese popo para atrás. Andando como un animal. De aquí no se ve nada mal. Quiero que sude, que sude, que sude, que sude.
Noise too loud.
Y lo ponga a botar. Nada mal, es que no es normal, ese movimiento tampoco es normal. Tiene algo que me hipnotiza y me hace poner como un animal, subiendo ese popo para atrás. La nalga como un animal, de aquí no se ve nada mal. Quiero que sude, que sude, que sude, que sude y lo ponga a botar.
Section. Everything was cool. Really nothing going on, but here, damn. Like then you keep that trumpet going still. Get rid of it. Does it sound better? Does it sound worse? If it sounds better, cool. Maybe leave the kick and just have the bass playing and highlight the vocals again. Or maybe foreshadow the vocals. Cool things to do here, or go straight to.
La nalga nada mal es que no es normal, ese mueve.
Take care, Robbie. It's nice to see you again.
Nada mal es que no es normal, ese movimiento tampoco es normal. Tiene algo que
So this little section, the flow of it.
me hipnotiza y me hace poner como un animal, subiendo ese popo para atrás. La nalga como un animal, de aquí no se ve nada mal. Quiero que sude, que sude, que sude, que sude y lo ponga a botar. Nada mal es que no es normal, ese movimiento tampoco es normal. Nada mal es que no es normal, ese movimiento tampoco es normal. Nada mal, nada mal,
It's party! Mexico is gonna win today! Yeah, cool. Main thing for me is this middle section is the big again, it's just the like because it's the only part where it feels awkward and unnatural. Break happens.
un animal, subiendo ese popo para atrás. La
This is
nalga
what I
como
would
un
do.
animal. De aquí no se ve nada mal. Quiero que sude, que sude, que sude, que sude y lo ponga a botar.
Just by itself, to be fair. My if I had to explain myself, more dramatic, way more how do you say it? Just more like it feels like a fucking song, like over a beat, a DJ beat. So again, it'd be something like
Quiero que sude, que sude, que sude, que sude y lo ponga a botar.
boom, a kick, and then ding, right, and then just the trumpet by itself. Stab. Right? It's like a moment for either one. Let's say you're DJing it out. That's the way I like to think about it. Or performing it out. It's a part where you fucking interact with the crowd, man. A part where maybe the crowd looks at you. They're like, oh, shit. You know, they go, fuck. He's risking it. He's fucking risking it. I don't know if that makes sense, but risking it just means, okay, you do something bold where it's like, oh, shit. It's very dramatic. And the hard thing with dramatic is you really have to get the fuck out of there in an elegant way. You know, you have to meet the expectation when you do it. Okay? And it feels like after you do that, you can drop, or you do a mini build like you do with the fucking snare build, and then boom, get into it. I feel that. Yeah, thank you, Edgar, or Edge Careless. I've heard it in other tracks, so that's how I know it's going to work. And I feel it can work really good here. Just try it. And if you like it, follow it through. If you do it and you're like, I don't know where I would take, just fucking leave it the way it is. But just a thought. Last shot. Yeah, you could drop with the trumpet if you want like that. I would say, is there any way not to drop with the trumpet and let the beat take over? Because it feels like the beat can just do its thing. Súbete, súbete, súbete. Trying to do it. And then back into that maybe after 8 bars. That's the way I hear it in my head. Can also, if you feel this is way too simple, then you can Mark Knight it. And the Mark Knight way would be a downlifter of hell, literally. So I'm gonna go on Splice. Downlifter. You know how Mark Knight does that? I actually made that one, which is funny because, hey, motherfuckers, that's right. Most used effects on Splice. That's the sad thing when it's not Evil Sounds. It doesn't get the credit, but it's all good. I know deep in my heart, it's like good. Anyways, downlifter. We need the Mark Knight one. It's the obnoxious one. That's what I'm saying. Like an obnoxious effects. Like shit. Fuck. Maybe that, but like honestly, it'd be more of the shit. Yeah, just like hear a Mark Knight track, like, and you'll see what I mean. You could do something like that, bro. Like a downlifter into it, but it has to fit. Don't just put a downlifter and say it didn't work, son. It has to fit, with due diligence, right? Put some thought into it, which one you're gonna use. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. But really cool track. Really good track. Good track. Okay, we got I don't build songs off loops. Instead, I make some drums on a sound. What the fuck? I don't build songs off loops. Instead, I make some drums on a sampler and go from there. But it's making me feel like my tunes aren't professional sounding. Are you using analog hardware? Are you just using the Ableton sampler like drum rack? We'll see. You can definitely sound pro doing that. It just leads to a certain type of track, like Like it sounds like a jam. I think the problem with doing stuff like that, most people, it usually just sounds like a fucking jam over a song. It sounds like a beat, not a song. Nothing wrong with that, to be fair, because there's a lot of songs out there like that. But we'll see. I'll let you know. I'll check it out. Okay. No, I'm honest. I'm fucking honest. You know that. Definitely giving me a bit of like, but we'll see where it goes. Well, instantly I can tell you the mix isn't optimal for sure. Even from a classic perspective, not making me want to dance in essence. Yeah, so I mean, if you're talking just about the arrangements, honestly, like, yeah, like I'm just gonna say it. Like, I know you're just asking arrangement and structure, but right now this sounds fucking robotic. I'm not a UK garage expert. What I learned from just studying a lot of that and working in it for 3 months, a lot of swing, and your track is lacking it. Your track sounds very robotic. Way too much imbalance. There's an imbalance in the mix, so it's not making me want to dance. It sounds like the low end's way too loud, so definitely want to work on the mixing side of stuff. The dancing part is just, again, the swing. This bass sounds too loud and it sounds too high up of an octave. Sounds like a square bass. Or fucking it could be FM2 with a square characteristics. Sorry, I'm trying to bring up Serum 2 real quick just to make something like it, but it's like, oh, there we go. So we'll cue you in. I'll show you and see. So bass too loud. Sounds like you're playing. You're playing up here, right? If you like the tone of that, it's fine. Right? So I'm like. I don't know why, but. Yeah, I think you're the one that gave me that reference when I was working on the pack. All that. You actually made it harder for me because let's see. Like, okay, get the fuck out.
Mufasa, you know we finally here, right?
Well, we.
It's Friday then. Mufasa, you know we.
Wait, which one? Which one, bro? Nightcrawlers. I know. Is it this one?
Mufasa.
No, yeah. There's a lot.
I thought the hands of time would.
That's the dopamine. Do they have like a non-dopamine at it? Like, it's like. So this guy's always pretty good. I do want a reference for it just because I want to tell them the wrong stuff. You know what I mean? But let me just hearing that. Sort of like, what are you trying to do in the break? This would be my question. Man, they don't even have that. Assuming tension. Honestly, my first question would be how long have you been producing for? To be fair, are you arranging this out on the, I don't know, Digitact or like the drum machine or whatever you're using? Because yeah, I can see it's hindering a lot. Personally, me, the way I like to use those pieces of gear is I'll create like the 8-bar loop, an 8-bar idea, and then I'll record it all into Ableton and then from there arrange it out. Main reason is that it's fucking hard to do it on those things. It's kind of like you're performing live. Right now, yeah, that break just feels weird. Because here I'm like, am I in a break or in a drop? I don't know, I'm confused by it. So I agree, the arrangement and the structure, it's a bit weird. I mean, the advice I always give to people, obviously, is find a reference you like. If you're making UK Garage, find a reference that's doing something similar, the 2-step beat, and then use it as a blueprint. Don't fall victim to just comparing your track to it, but just see how long are the sections lasting. What are they doing in the break? Does the break keep repeating the main idea from the drops, or does it do something different? For example, in some of the tracks I heard, what they would do is they would go into the break, and instead of it being groovy and still playing the same bass, it would become something that's a bit more atmospheric. It would start to utilize chords, and the chords would be transposed up and down, which means that you're pretty much playing like a, let's say, C minor chord, and you would move up and down, but instead of actually having the right voicing, it would just stay in that setup, which would create like almost like, this eerie vibe to it, which I guess the best way to explain it is to show what I mean, where it's like 3, 7, and then, we get like, let's say, just like a nice digital synth real quick. Let's use this. Like, that's what I would hear a lot of, maybe like a flanger. But again, it doesn't mean you have to use this sound, right? It could be with any other sound. You could stay on the one where it's like... like spacey. I feel like I have to clip it because some tracks will do that in the break, where instead of it being like the drop, wham, 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 it goes into more of an atmospheric break. And then how long does the break last? So a reference will be able to answer all of that. Like maybe like the break is just, and instead of doing dun, 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 it's dun. I don't know what the song is about. I don't know what the goal is with it. But me, again, not judging my creativity and my taste, I would look for either cinematic vocals, stuff that will that fits the vibe of that we have created with the sounds that you have put together. So for me, that would be something like no, not that. No, not that. Just monologue, maybe like just something to talk about the meaning of life or some shit, some Alan Watts in there, like really whatever suits the boat. And then I would just check the reference to see how they transition out of it and go back to the 8-bar loop, which is what I created on my hardware piece of gear. And then maybe add to the drums with other samples from Ableton. But that's all I can say. Definitely, I will say your arrangement and structure is off. And the best way to fix that is going to be to, again, record everything into Ableton or your DAW and then follow a blueprint from there, man. That's all I can really say. But cool track, all I can say. There's no other things to make my say except the vocals, of course. Effects too. That's cool, man. I think that's very dope of you to do. Right now, it's just the structure of it, right? So that's gonna be more about like when you create an idea. Usually, in music, it repeats. It's either a 4 to 8-bar loop, and the name of the game is to repeat that in different ways, tell the story differently, so that it becomes something that people want to listen to.
Sexy lady. Make my dreams reality, sexy lady.
Just general, tell me if this is
I wanna open your love gates, sexy lady. I wanna take care of you.
All right.
Like a man is supposed to. Sexy lady.
I mean, I love the vocal. I think the vocal's definitely a good pick.
Body on fire.
This part's cool. I didn't like how in the break that the bass is doing different shit, and on the drop it's doing something completely different. There's definitely a way of making that work, which for me it would be like, okay, do something different in the break with the bass, but make sure there's a section before the drop where the bass maybe goes to like just the one note and it just repeats that, or with the same rhythm. And that way, when it changes on the drop, it's not so like sudden, which created that like negative reaction when I heard it.
Sexy lady, got my body high.
Agreed.
I wanna open your love gates, sexy lady. You set my body on fire.
Mixed fuck, but
sexy lady.
that's cool. There you go, bro. Or girl. Yeah, it's a little, fuck. Yeah, it's a little amateurish, but you have some good ideas. I mean, I think the vocal's sick. I like how you create a moment before the last drop. Drum beat is cool. Drums sound like shit, but drum beat itself makes sense, right? You're doing everything right. It's just kind of like bass, maybe down an octave. That would be the first thing I try. Second is the whole song is the vocals. So does the bass need to be so complicated? Can it just play a basic ass rhythm? Do you want to take it there? Right? But definitely like Sweet DJ said, like I definitely feel like the bass just needs to be lower octave and deeper for it. There is some cool things you do like here.
Like a man is supposed. I wanna open your love
That
gates.
beat in the back makes sense.
Sexy lady.
But yeah, like vocal is very sultry. It sounds almost like the guy is a male stripper talking to me in a like sexy voice. So I already want to kind of make stuff sound very deep, not super like fishery, sticky Vicky. and yeah, so the main thing I would kind of be thinking about on that one. The gram idea. Okay, I'm about to go watch the Mexico game. So let's go fast. Yeah, I'm not vibing too much with this one. Not that it's bad, but it has really cool elements. Like the piano is doing something really dope. The bass is doing something really dope. The problem is everything's doing something dope, and nothing is like like something. Again, there's only one Beyonce, and something needs to be the star, and everything else needs to support the star. And right now, this track feels like the bass is trying to be the fucking hero when the piano should be the hero. What I was hearing the whole time through the song, after vocal came in and once the piano came in, more basic bass groove, dun 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 dun. That's all. Simpler bass. If you want to make the whole track be about the bass, you can, but don't be using no fucking piano. Maybe piano stabs would work. Vocals that aren't like, you know, like more like vocals that say something here and there, boom, 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 without like constant jatter. Let's see. See, like this works. And then now you lose me, and then the vocal. Yeah, it's all right, let's see. We got okay. I'm gonna go faster. How to get going? I want to watch the game. Look at his studio, nice. I'm gonna say this right now. This is way too fucking loud. He's out. I think something's missing on the drop. Nothing's fucking missing in this, bro. This is fucking loud. Like, nothing's fucking missing. Variation, maybe change on the melody. I'm not sure. Also, I want to know if the kick sound works fine with the bass. High end might be a bit overpowering too, but I think that's just the white noise effects. All right. Let's go. Yeah, man, this is cool. Here you can add another layer to the lead if you wanted to develop it out more. You don't have to change the pattern, but you can change the timbre of the lead by just layering a wide lead. Since you have a monophonic lead, a mono lead down the center, you can add like a wide lead, more super saw, more wide in general. That will like support it. That can work. Everything else sounds cool. I feel it's just everyone's saying clip everything, make it loud, you know, all that shit, and that's the problem. But I think people learn with time to develop taste for that rather than just hearing some random person, including myself, say, yeah, do this and do that. You know, at the end of the day, every song's different. So, yeah, this one's just way too pushed. Kick and bass, I can't even say if it's working to that extent. I mean, I'll say like this: it's working. There's not a lot of fighting, but the thing is, do you agree with the way it sounds? You know, like the kick sounds way too clean and way too pokey, way too high-endy. The bass sounds hella pushed. Right? Do they work together? Yeah, they're not fighting in the sense of like, you know, horrible, but it's more of the tasting on it. Like, is that the optimal sound for it? Nonetheless, though, for the drop, just variation, yeah, you can come in with another lead that will layer it on the sides. You can also, like Edgar says, like how, or Ed, I'm calling that for Edgar, come in with the claps, or a ride, right? We all know the stadium claps, right? If we go on splice.com, just, hit him with the stadium claps, bro. Like, shit, that was the day of, like, yeah, there you go. Do your thing on that, okay? That's well, like, you can add those, and I think maybe that is what is missing. And master for sure. Yeah, the master's fucked, man. It's just more of a mixing thing. Grab reference to good music. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. There's a lot of trash out there. There's a lot of stuff that sounds like shit that gets views, that gets people going, right? Maybe for the marketing, or it may just be the idea is really good. But you want to make sure you're referencing to really, like, good shit, because if you're referencing to crap, you're gonna sound like crap, right? And it's better to sound 50% of, let's say, Martin Garrix, than to sound 50% of a FL Studio producer in Antarctica or some shit, with, like, a TikTok famous track that, yeah, it went big on TikTok, but it sounds like shit. No need to reference to that, Yeah, I would say Martin Garrix, Showtech. Man, who else in Big Room had really good fucking mixes? That's one thing I would reference. That way, if it sounds kind of close, it sounds better than most. That's the way I would say.
Poison free bitch. Some girls won't dance to the beat of the tribe. She won't walk away, but she won't look back. She looks good, but her boyfriend
I think it's out of key.
says she's a mess. She's a mess. She's a mess. She's a mess.
Break is not here. Leave it at that. That's sick. That works. That's sick. Like the idea of the drop. There's certain things like that shot that just came in that sound off. The mix is not optimal, but the idea is sick. The pattern's cool. Good transition. Good flow here. You're doing the bridge right? A lot of the other tracks that came before you, I was saying the bridge feels off. Here, you do it right. You get rid of the acid sound. You have the pad and highlight the vocals more. So it works really good. It's leading us into that break. Yeah, you're doing good. Okay. Bring back the drums. Okay. Here we go. Break. She is a man. When I went with my boys to Thailand on a trip, I wish someone would have told me she was a man, bro. Definitely iffy on this.
won't walk away, but she won't look back.
Definitely super iffy on all of that stuff. I like the drop. I can just say that. Everything else, the flow of it feels a bit off. So again, reference. But the overall track of the vibe, pretty cool. It's just that fucking break, bro. It's like, it sounds too old. Yes, it fucking sounds old. Me and my boys' first collab track. Let me know if it's a vibe. Anything you tweak, change, add. Don't hold back. All right, man. People tell me don't hold back. I'm gonna bump it, okay? He seems like, of course, fool. He's probably watching the Mexico game right now.
From the pool to the hotel room, I'm a good girl, baby. I put you first. Hope you think of me when you're fucking with yours.
Mix wise, it's not bad. Imbalance, the volume, piano sounding fucking like lane 8ish, while the vocal sounding like it wants to be in a fucking high-tech electro track. Maybe the volume can come down on the vocal a bit and that would solve it, but definitely a bit of a huge contrast there. But I like what she's saying. I like the vibe of that. Oh shit. What the fuck is...
Promise I'm a good girl, a good girl.
All right. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, you guys are losing me here. I'm like, you know, I'm all hyping up. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. That fucking chords and vocal, good vibes there. And it's like, you go Feta Legrand, and then you come back to Lane 8.
Promise I'm a good girl, a good girl. We from the pool to the hotel room. I'm a good girl, baby. I put you first. Hope you think of me when you're fucking with your other hoes too. Oops, I promise I'm a good girl, a good girl.
It's a weird one because there's good ideas. Again, like it's kind of like you can have a good story, a good premise, but I think it's like, you know, shit. Yeah, man, it's a little weird. Like you start off with a piano that's, you know, like playing some nice chords. Sounds like it's in a melodic house track. Vocal sounding fucking electro as fuck. But I like the idea of that vocal with that piano because that's what the young crowd, the young people like right now. And then, this guy's saying he's a good girl. And then you go into the acid part. Right, this is all good, and then you do this. Okay, it's fine if you do that, but then you do this, and then you do that, and now again. Okay. And I thought you were gonna drop with that, but then you go back into this. Another build. I don't know what the fuck. See, I don't understand what the fuck's going on. I should never feel that way while listening to a song. Okay, so that's the arrangement of it. The way you made it seem like we were building up and you were gonna drop with an acid drop. So then you go back and you're like, wait, never mind. Now when you drop. That's the thing I'm saying. It's a weird song. There's good ideas, right? So if I slice out the fucking piano part here with the vocal, I'm like sick. But then you come in with this acid shit, and it's like, okay, get the fuck, like it's bad. And then you go into this drop. If I slice this drop out and just say these are the 8 bars, what do you think? I think it's good too. This is good. I'm like, it makes sense. I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, that works, right? More drums, I would say. That's a fucking drop. That's the drop for one song. That's the break for one song. This is another song. So it's like you got different songs in this bit. And then this is where it's like starting to go into. Chop off everything before. This is dope. So, arrangement is the biggest thing, and not jumping between different ideas. I once took a class in college because it was called electronic music production class, and fucking I thought we were gonna be learning some dope shit, but we just learned how to use Logic. But at the end of the class, everyone had to make a song and show it to everyone, stand up and explain what their idea was. drums and shit. Another 30 seconds pass, and then there's this obnoxious ass uplifter, and it goes into a pop beat. Like, and I was just like, what the fuck, bro? No, I was just saying, so I took a class in college, electronic music production. For the end of it, we had to do a song and show it in front of the class. During the time I was making trance, progressive trance, pretty decent, I would say too. So, showed that. But then the guy that came after me, he was swagged out. I had a snapback, pretty good. I had a big ass gold chain. It was funny because he was like, you have to tell what the song's about and the thought process. He was like, I just wanted to bridge hip hop, metal, and pop together. So I heard it and I thought, oh shit, it's gonna be sick. So the song starts off with a hip hop beat, right? And then it has this obnoxious uplifter, which goes into a rock beat, which is like rock drums, like basic as fuck, with a guitar playing. And then it does an uplifter and goes into a pop beat. And I'm just like, 3 fucking genres in one song. Instead of blending the genres together, he fucking made sections that were different. So I was just like, oh my God, maybe he was ahead of his time. I don't fucking know. But point being, you're not doing it as bad as he did, but that's what your song feels like. Your song just feels like a hell of a lot of different ideas put together. You need to sit down, refine it, and make it flow smoothly. Where, like, if you were to show it to someone that can be honest with you, your mom, like, she'll tell you, oh, it makes sense, honey, or yeah, it goes good, or maybe show it to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, that's fine. Right now, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? But like I said, you have nice sections that work really well. Just dial down on the idea, because to be fair, I feel like break could be piano for sure. Build up, no, don't need for the fucking acid. I don't understand why there's an acid on the build up. Just fucking build it up with some of the sounds on the drop. Do your drop the way you do it. Go into the break, piano, vocal again, and maybe bridge the break and the drop with the vocal, right? Just make it flow. Make it evolve. All right. Oh my God, bro. Okay. Let's see. We got this one. Aria. Oh, I mean Aria. All right, man. Mix, sound selection, everything. Okay. Yeah. Well. All right.
I met her on the way to Chicago. I met her on the way to Chicago. I met her on the way to Chicago, where she was all alone. So his eyes were asking for her name. She smiled and looked at me. I was surprised to see that a woman like that was real into me. She said she did not know me. She loved me. She told me she was all alone. Said I don't think she had no one. She said doesn't get enough face. I feel the line of she loved me. She lied to you, lied me. She will love me, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't like the part with Michael Jackson. I think the bass sounds you're playing very like high. This is where I want to be at with same thing with Ozone again. Ozone's making your kick's way too loud, so Ozone's already slamming it in. just goes too high. Okay, good in the bridge. Love the way you.
Chicago, where she was all alone.
Right.
So his eyes were asked for her name. She smiled and looked at me. I was surprised to see. I never would have thought she was living like that. Her words seemed so sincere. When I held her near, she would tell me how she feels. It felt so real to me.
Right? I don't know why you go up. But I don't know, dude, that bass, fuck, shit.
This girl, she had to be an angel sent from heaven just for me. She said you had no mercy. The very best you could be. She don't seem so love.
Yeah, you go up, you should go down instead.
Said I don't get half love me. She said just give up. But you 59 with the ghost. She lied, you love me. Cause she was love me, love me.
I think the bass melody is fine. I think it's just playing too high up. Kills the vibe. Ozone Master is really fucking it. But the main thing, right? It's the Michael Jackson vocals on top of this.
Met her on the way to Chicago, where she was all alone. So his eyes were as
yeah, that's the thing, you know. When I feedback people, I just don't want to tell them like when the vocals are playing, just fucking do. You know, just that basic ass. Right, like for sure, you keep your swag, identity. Main thing is just make sure it works with the vocal. That's gonna be the main thing.
She smiled and looked at me. I was surprised to see that a woman like that was real into me. She said she didn't have no money.
It's fucked. It's fucked. That's all I can say, man. It's hard to feedback it. I think it's one of those things where you just gotta go back and rework the idea. Let me see if there's a section with just the drum. No Michael Jackson. Deeper bass. Yeah, and again, the master's just fucked. I would just make the bass deeper if you like the vibe of it. But from there, the vibe of this with the Michael Jackson vocal, it's a bit like you're making it hard on yourself. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm assuming if I hear it, we're gonna get fucking copyrighted. Let's go.
That a woman like that was real into me. She said she didn't have no man.
Fuck, that's hard too.
She told me she was all alone. Said I don't didn't have no one. She said just give enough page. 59 and what she gon' be. She lied to me. Cause she was loving me, yeah. I never would have thought she was living like.
Dun, 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 dun. Maybe you do a variation of that. You know, make it easy on yourself, or just keep it on the one. Right now, the vibe of it is a bit weird. That's all I can say, man. That's a hard one to feedback properly, but definitely the bass is too high. Ozone's killing you. And my goal would be to get the Michael Jackson vocals working with the bass first. From there, like, I'm not gonna follow what they're doing because it feels like if you were to speed that shit up, the bass is just moving way too much for a track like the one you're trying to create. And if then you're gonna be coming in with synths on top, you want to make sure everything is working well together. So if the bass is complicated, moving around a lot, it feels like the synths you wouldn't be able to do a lot. From there, but yeah, just try maybe simplifying it down. That's all I can say. Mixed in key. Yeah, just go mixed in key. It's like the same software for DJs, but so is Mexico winning? Fuck, I gotta go after this shit. Oh, they're winning 1-0. All right, 9 minutes in. Okay. God, more atmosphere. Way too basic. Way too. It just stops. Okay.
Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo. Dale, dale, sube. Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo. Dale, dale, sube, sube, dale al ritmo. Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo. Dale, dale, sube, sube, dale al ritmo. Ese ritmito suena rico. Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo.
What?
Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo.
Bass is cool, but definitely need more, man. You have two options, right? So
sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo. Dale, dale, sube, sube, dale al ritmo. Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo.
that's option one. Option two would be like maybe like getting a tom or something. You could do something more like unique, I guess, which would be
Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo. Dale, dale, sube, sube, dale al ritmo. Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo. Dale, dale, sube, sube, dale al ritmo. Ese ritmito suena rico. Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo.
you lose me with that. Like, that's way too random.
Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo. Dale, dale, sube, sube, dale al ritmo. Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo. Dale, dale, sube, sube.
Yeah, so like cool shit with it, but
Sube, dale al ritmo. Ese ritmito suena rico. Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo. Sube, sube, no le quite, dale al ritmo.
this is everything. It just needs to refine that bass. it's weird just hearing arrangements that don't follow like not the formula, but like the normal. Like it shouldn't feel weird. It shouldn't make me go like, wait, what the fuck is going on? That's the problem with the guitar. It comes in randomly. Like if I was writing this song out, why not use the guitar in the break? Why not introduce it in the breakdown? Why have the breaks so scoped back like this? Like, what's the purpose of this? What's the purpose of having the lead side change, you know? Why not have a pad here? Why not have the vocal, right? So you drop, and then it feels way too empty because the bass is doing like dun dun, and then there's a big gap in it. So that's where I might come in with a tom or another bass. Maybe that was the idea. I'm not sure. If you want to be generic, you can just use the saw bass and keep doing the pattern that I was doing, or you can have it dun 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 dun, and then another bass comes in dun dun wong wong dun dun. Right, that would be fucking sick. But the way the guitar comes in like that just makes no fucking sense when I hear it from the left to the right like that. It's not that the guitar is not good, it's the way that it's coming in. It's random, and it's kind of like a lost opportunity to introduce it in a way where it makes more sense in the break. From there, I don't even want to hear the rest because it feels like it just keeps going. There's no breaks, there's no structure to it. But the idea itself is good. It's just the way you're telling the story doesn't really make sense, and doesn't, like, again, I'm hearing it and I'm like trying to fucking like go like, where the fuck, what are we, like it shouldn't have to be that way. It should never have to be that way when I'm hearing someone's song. All right, so that's just more of the structure, the arrangement of it. Ideal wise, if I grab the guitar loop, put it in an 8-bar loop, I grab the kick and the drums and the bass and add that part of the bass that I feel is missing. I like the loop. I think it's a very strong idea. The vocal's cool as well. Can really work, but now you have to write it in a structure where it makes sense. People aren't gonna have to go like, wait, what the fuck's going on? We're like, wait, what? You know, it's done in a way where it creates a positive experience. Okay, we're gonna do this last track and head out, guys. I want to go watch the game. Mexico versus South Africa. Let's go. So let's just. Who else? Whole World Cup? Not sure. There's a kick, but there's no side chain, so this sounds really weird just hearing it. Tough to back, but I'll focus more on the idea of it and like trying to decipher it. So Asian dude, laid back dude. Alright, we need to give the melody a break. The pianos. We're about to get to the break. Here we go, let's move it, please. Don't keep it going. Don't keep it going, please. Just the piano maybe by itself. There you go. Fuck that melody though, bro. That melody is not needed. Oh, it goes away. Summertime Afro House. Okay. those fucking drums need more sustain. Doom, 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 doom. Like I just want to like. Dude, do I even have fucking toms, isn't it? Toms. There we go. I'm gonna help you out. Release. Deadly Sue. See, even that one's way too like thin, man. We need reverb on it. Yeah, those toms. We just need some more. Like it needs a tail of it. Dum 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 dum. The more tribal sound. I don't have the sample because I haven't connected my hard drive since I got back from the trip. But usually like boom boom boom. Like right now it just sounds way too transient shaped for what it is. Transition needs work. It's more about what is allowed to remain and stay before the drop. So aka like for instance the piano's playing dun, dun. Everything sounds the same, the reeds isn't thinning out. Staying the same, staying the same, staying the same. And then it drops and like the energy just stays the same. There's no big increase in energy. So it's just figuring out why that is. It could be as simple as the reeds is allowed to stay too full, or it could be as you need to like maybe stay on the one chord instead of leaving the chord progression. Could be a lot of things, but you just gotta create way more tension, decrease the energy, make it feel less in the drop. Because right now this transfers and it just doesn't sound big. It doesn't like produce that feeling of like, let's go. It just falls rather like flat. Yep, that's all I gotta say on that one. Would look for a reference for the arrangement storytelling of it. Probably start off with just like the intro being like kick bass, maybe the piano on the one, and not even produce a harmony until the first break where you start introducing it, and then the drop happens and it still stays mellow. In essence, an Afro house track. That's good. That's what I would follow for this. Maybe fire, right? Without taking into consideration the vocals and stuff. Right, like you don't have vocals, but maybe just the arrangement of the way they introduce the piano and all that good stuff on the extended version of it. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Enjoy the World Cup. I'll see you guys next week as always on Thursday, 10 a.m. Right, and yeah, hopefully by then I'll be way more alert. Still a little tired, but you guys take care.